Boys got a Tony Alford interview. Let's see what we're talking about. Also, I love Tony separately. Maybe I'm not the wrong person to kind of do this kind of thing because I do love Tony. Me and Tony chat every now and again. I think he's a great coach. I'm sick that he left Ohio State, obviously, and I don't like the revisionist history on him from Ohio State fans, generally speaking. I mean, he gave Ohio State most definitely like the best room they've had in maybe a long time. So
things off here because our community was, I'd say we had one of the most popular shows we've ever had when Coach Whittingham was announced as the new head coach of the Michigan Wolverines. And of course, we started speculating who was going to be in each role and all of that good stuff. And when it was announced that you were being retained, everybody was happy about it. And that's very rare in fandom that everybody's happy about it, but everybody was happy about it that I know anyway.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the crib. Like, wait, hold up, dude. What do we got, Tony? Chiefs, Washington, don't know, and Michigan, no Buckeyes. Makes me sick to my stomach, man. Makes me sick to my stomach.
So with that said, what has it been like working with the new coach, Coach Whittingham, so far? And is there anything about his approach that stands out to you as something that resonates?
Yeah, well, first of all, I very appreciate the compliments, and you guys are easily impressed, I guess, right? but no, in all sincerity, that means a lot. I'm very flattered. I've absolutely loved my time here, going on my third season, and so I thank you for that. And I too wanted to be here, and so God willing, it worked out in my favor. And but I appreciate the compliments from not only you guys but from the fan base, and we have an amazing fan base. So very appreciative, as I said. Back to your question though. Yeah, it's been great. I've had an opportunity. I've known Kyle kind of in and out of situations. My late brother, worked for him from 2007 to 2010. So I had a somewhat a relationship, but nothing was like we were friends or sit down and have a beer together, nothing like that.
Right,
but we knew each other, and so I was very fortunate that I was able to stay. But he has been nothing short of amazing. He's a great guy. I've really enjoyed the past few months working with him and for him. It's very clear messaging. The messages are clearly defined, and what the expectations are for not only the players in the program but for the staff. And then he gives you the autonomy to go do your work.
Absolutely. I mean,
it's a good note, right? Like, obviously, and this is something that maybe a lot of people aren't gonna, even think it's a big deal. But like, when an assistant coach, one of the first things he praises is like autonomy to do your own work. There are coaches, young coaches out there, coaches early on in their career, that like kind of like overstep, I guess, and like press a little bit too hard and like kind of hover a little bit and don't give you autonomy and almost like don't trust your work process. So like hearing a coach talk about, like it feels good to like have autonomy. Could check out, and I don't know if he's talking about Sharon or talking about Ryan, but you do see coaches that are kind of on the younger front don't always give full autonomy over things, and that's something that can be a point of contention, especially like if a coach is someone who is well respected and like always done things the right way and like is used to working autonomously. If they have worked for like older coaches who trust them, so just a note on it. Not that it could be nothing, but just that autonomy word I think is fascinating to listen for, especially like in the first, I guess, like question him, standing on that.
Coach Whittingham, has been, labeled as, very focused, very disciplined, very, goal-oriented. Is he bringing that same attitude and mentality to the program right now? Are you seeing this?
You can see it. You can see it in the messaging to the players and to the staff every single day. There is a clear, concise message every single day of what the expectations are, and you're not gonna. And they're not going to negotiate on what those expectations are. There's no negotiation. This is what it is, and it's very clear and it's clearly articulated. And it's kind of wild, not wild, but it's funny. If you're not sure, ask, and you'll be quickly told.
Right.
And here's what we want. Here's how we're going to do it. We're not asking. It's not up for debate. This isn't a request to do it this way. This is how it's going to be. And it's proven he's had success doing it that way. So it's been great.
Absolutely. So heading into spring camp, what's the energy like in the building, Coach, from both the players and the coaches?
Well, I think it's like anybody else across the country right now. Your guys are excited to get back on the grass and start playing ball. And so I would challenge anybody to say that any program at this juncture is excited to go play it. There's something
Damn, if you're gonna put the spring schedule up, John, let me read it.
wrong. Challenge across the country right now. Your guys are excited to get back on the grass and start.
Spring game, April 18th. Dude, I feel like I'm always out of town that weekend. 14 practices. Let's get it going.
Start playing ball. And so I would challenge anybody to say that any program at this juncture is excited to go play it. There's something wrong. But our players have been great. They've embraced the staff. It's a very close knit team. They've banded together amidst all the stuff that has happened. In some ways, you can say, well, that can splinter you or can bring you closer. And I believe our players just brought them closer. And so guys are excited. We start a week from today, actually. And so yeah, we're excited about it. And the workouts have been high energy and really good. And so we're anxious to get back to playing ball.
There is that thing that happens when a new coach is there. It's like almost like clean slate, and everyone's kind of like racing for playing time. So you're gonna get like a lot of high energy stuff because they feel like kind of like almost like new life for guys that don't play, and then also like a prove it life for guys who do play. I do think that's kind of one of the more, I guess, intriguing things when you do get a new coach, because everyone feels like they've got a chance to play, and also like everyone wants to prove. Because like here we go, like Whittingham didn't know what your practice habits were a year ago. So if you feel like your practice habits weren't where you wanted them to be, you can clean slate it and act like they've always been this good when the new coach is here. I think that's you're going to see an uptick with that kind of thing, especially because like the roster wasn't horrible last year, like the team wasn't horrible last year. And this is a rare case of a coach like not getting fired for on-field performance, but more getting fired for some of the extracurricular stuff. Because like this wasn't like a broken on-field product. It was like a broken like cultural product. It was like a broken like how we're running this program. But we still won 9 games. I mean, that was one of the messages Sharon Moore sent to one of his side chicks. Like 9-3. Like you stand on that. Like yeah, like we are hearing you got fired for cause. Oh, but like 9-3. So it is a unique place, like having kind of a jolt of energy into a team that already was like a 9-win team. Like this is a team that kind of went through scandal that did not impact the on the field in such a negative way to make it unrecognizable.
Okay. So speaking of like getting back and getting excited, what are you?
Also, these interviews are kind of hard to pull off, right? Because like while you do want to ask the hard questions, you also want them to feel like they weren't blindsided, so that you can get them to come back. So it's like a weird balance. For me, I can ask Zach whatever the fuck I want to ask him because like we do this show together, big dog, and also he's not currently coaching right now. But like trying to do that balance of like, hey, look, like I want to ask you some hard shit, but I know that like you probably primarily want to keep it coach speak. Now, Coach Alford is so, like Coach Tony Alford is like so real. Like when we've talked like off the record, he's been like super real with me about things, which I think is refreshing, and it makes sense that like him and Zach are cool, given how real both of them are.
You most looking forward to, Coach? Like getting back to spring practice. It's been a long winter, right? So like, are you just ready to get back to it, or where's Coach Alford at?
Yeah, I think there's been so much that's gone on. There's been a litany of things that have gone on since early December. It's kind of like write a book, right? You couldn't even make up a story like this, but there's been so much that's happened, and
Sure.
and for me, it's great just to be back around our players and every day in the meeting room with them. And for me, that's the best time, is to being around the guys. Not that you don't like being in the staff rooms and the meeting rooms and all that with your coworkers, but being around the players, that's what's fun. That's what energizes. That's why you go to work every day, and so that's been fun. I'm very fortunate. I've got an amazing room full of guys that are fun to be around. They're hardworking. They take coaching. They want to be coached. They do. They really want to be good, and so there's never been a day that I've walked into my room they haven't been engaged, and so I think there's great leadership from the top of the room, and so I'm really excited to get going with the guys again and just being around them every day.
Yeah, I know, TJ, you're headed there with some people to the annual spring game coming up in April. So very
That's right.
excited
We'll be there,
to
Coach.
see what.
Right.
Yeah,
very excited
April
to see
18th,
that.
2:00, April 18th.
Stepping on each other a little bit. Been there before.
There with some people to the annual spring game coming up in April. So
It's a good play. It's like the we'll be there, to we'll be there because you either want to hit me up, boys, when you go, or you want to talk about it after the show, after the interview wraps, right? Because clearly there's like a connection there. But John, he's rambling, he's rolling, dude. It's like he's running downhill already, man. He's running downhill. You can't stop. He doesn't want to jump cut. He's running downhill. He's trying to get in there.
Oh, very
That's right.
excited
We'll be there,
to
Coach.
see what.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
Very excited
April
to see
18th,
that.
2 o'clock. April 18th, 2 o'clock.
See, he acknowledges him, but John's like, I'm getting downhill, pussy.
Let's go.
And with that said, the
2 o'clock.
April, so very
That's right.
excited
We'll be there,
to
Coach.
see what.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
we'll
right.
Very
be there.
excited
April
to see
18th, 2
that.
o'clock. April 18th, 2 o'clock.
Let's go.
And with
John
that,
said, I'm getting downhill, pussy.
that said, the coming up in April, so very
That's right.
excited
We'll be there,
to
Coach.
see what.
Right. That's
Yeah,
right.
Very excited
April
to see
18th, 2
that.
o'clock. April 18th, 2 o'clock.
Let's go.
And
I'm getting downhill, pussy. Get out the way, TJ.
with that said, the spring game is going to be the first time that we see at least a little bit of the new offense under Jason
Right.
Beck. And so you've been working closely, obviously, with Coach Beck. What has that experience been like, and what has kind of stood out to you? We heard early on that there would be more 11 personnel, but then we heard from Coach Beck himself in interviews that he was going to adapt to the personnel. So what have you kind of seen so far with?
Well, I think he is going to adapt to the personnel that we have, and we've got an opportunity to run 12. We got an opportunity to run, even bigger packages to bring multiple offense line. We can go into our 11 personnel stuff. We can do 2-back stuff. So there's a multitude of things that we can do within the confines of the offense. Probably not unlike
2-back Tony.
many other places. I think one of I made a comment this kind of wild the way this offense is, and if I had to elaborate on that, what I mean is just the way that it's called. I mean, the plays are the plays. Right, everyone's running zone, everyone's running power, everyone's running 4 verticals and things of that nature. But the way that it's called, I've never been associated with the way that it's being called as far as just the vernacular and just like I said, and it's been wild for me because I've never seen it called that way and really installed that way. Because usually when you install, the way I've ever done it in 30 some odd years of course, you install by concept. We're going to put in this concept today, this one tomorrow, and so on and so forth. With this one, it's all at your disposal day one, and then you're just kind of picking and choosing and what you want to and how you want to put out there on the field. But
that's a really good football note. Make note of that. Different vernacular, not used to this kind of installing bits and pieces. But for this particular offense, it's just all there, and that could be because, like, amongst the staff in terms of Whittingham and company, there's already like that verbiage, and so they'll kind of, just take note. That's, I don't want that to go over anybody's head.
It's been wild that way. It's just everything is in from day one, and so the that's been a little different in just how you teach. But it's been great. The players have really taken to it. I've enjoyed it. I'm liking it, of course. And
I mean, when you do it that way, you almost force players to continue to prep outside of, like, you force them to prep outside of just practice time, and you can see who's really serious about it. If it's like being kind of slow fed to you, then like the guys who are just like uber talented can kind of get away with just being more talented than everybody else. But if you want true mastery, look, we're going to give you everything. Learn it, study it. That feels like more like an NFL install rather than like a college install. And that would make sense. Like if Whittingham is like kind of pointing his program in the direction of, accountability. Yeah.
But he's great to work with. Very, no ego whatsoever. There's zero ego involved, and very open ideas. And hey, well, how can we do this better? What do we like? What about this? What about that? So he's been nothing short of great to work with.
That's awesome. A full collaborative effort. I love to hear that, Coach. So all right, our audience definitely wants to hear this question, Coach. So when you were recruiting Savion Haider in high school, what did you see in him as a player that made you want him on your team?
I mean, they're saying he's the man, dude. Like, that's someone who's like getting a lot of money, probably one of the top 10 highest paid running backs in all college football, true freshman. Like, people are calling him like, Jeremiah Smith type true freshman at that position. They love him. Like Adrian Peterson comps, like the way he runs is mean, nasty. He's got home run hitting speed. He's got some make you miss to him. Like, talking about him like he's like the next like really, really fantastic back. And maybe the most dynamic back that Michigan's had. I know Michigan fans like love Blake Corum. He wasn't that dynamic. I'm gonna keep it 100% a stack with you. He wasn't that dynamic. He was good and effective, but never a conversation about like most toolsy talented back in America was never in that discussion. I'm expecting Haider to be in that discussion. And honestly, like I do think that the more Bryce Underwood uses his legs, the better that will be for Haider. And I don't know how early we're going to see him. I haven't really read any. Well, I mean, they haven't even started camp yet. But when they do, I'm curious to see what we're going to hear about him.
Coach.
Like everybody else in the free world, the guy's an explosive player, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't unique. I wasn't unique in think of that. No, he's an outstanding football player. He's more explosive than even I thought when you see it up. It's one thing to watch the film, but it's another thing to be standing right next to him and he comes running by you or accelerating past you. I guess one of the things that I didn't know is just how hungry he is to learn. Just, you can never.
Super rare, important trait. I always praise Jeremiah Smith for not only his willingness and well, not only the explosiveness and the God-given gifts, but also like the want to be perfect, like the want to go the hardest, like the running through McLean's chest in opening week of practice, like that rare separator of like, not only am I bigger and physical and more talented than you, but I've got the thing that the kids that aren't that talented do. And it's like unlimited drive and unlimited work ethic. And when you give guys with like, if you give guys like the God's gift, the unlimited drive and unlimited work ethic, you get, I think, like really special players. Now, again, like that's just me taking a one quote from Tony Alford, but that's what you look for. Like you look for guys with that kind of high motor, because I mean, shoot, like the Bosa's super talented, super high motor, and like when you have that high motor, you're able to, go above and beyond any normal ceiling. And I look at like the adverse, right? The reverse, I guess. Like Caden Curry is a guy who doesn't have like all the crazy, like, God-given gifts, but the high motor, he's able to like play above his talent level because that motor is so high, because the want is so high. And I think they call it give a shitter. And it's funny because like you see guys that make it with the high give a shitter is because they're not like God-given talent, and they kind of need that to excel. But when guys kind of match up both, you get a real chance at something special.
Really tell how coachable a guy is until you really get a hold of him. But he's exceptionally gifted as far as athletically, as we said, but he wants to be coached. And he's a sponge. He wants to learn. He picks things up. If he'll make a mistake, he's not going to make the same mistake twice, I should say. He's not walking in here as a wide-eyed true freshman, if you will, and wide-eyed kind of like, oh man, look at these. The lights are. I don't see the lights being too big for him. But he has been extremely impressive, explosive athlete. He's done a fabulous job, in the classroom as well, off the field. He's been the joy to be around. One of the things, he was so quiet in the recruiting process. Like I almost didn't enjoy recruiting. Like
Jeremiah Smith also super quiet during the recruiting process.
Like he wouldn't talk to people. He didn't talk to the media.
Not trying to compare the two. I'm just drawing similarities. You're kind of getting my like honest reactions as we go through this.
He was very just, try to be out of the way. But the guy's, I mean, he's kind of a clown, really. So he's fun to be around. He's a joy to be around. His mom and dad did an amazing job of raising that kid, and obviously his brothers and sisters and his grandmother and all the people down there. They did such a good job of Karana staying around him and helping shape and mold him. But obviously he did the heavy lifting and did the work. But he's great to be around every day.
Yeah, we followed that recruitment very closely, and a player of his caliber, for as quiet as that recruitment was, from his standpoint, right? Like not, going to the, recruiting sites and giving all, he just walked his path and stayed on his path, man. And just, it was actually refreshing, Coach, to be honest with you. We follow recruiting pretty heavily here, and to see a player just take that approach and not worry about, their name being here or there, but just staying focused on the.
That happens when you know how great you are.
Mission, Coach. I'm sure you love that.
And I did, because like you said, he didn't care about rankings. He didn't care who said what this website, what this podcast, what this media person, what 247. He didn't care. He just wanted to go.
Super rare in the NIL era, right? Because like the more you're outside, the bigger your name is. The bigger your name is, the more marketable you are. The more marketable you are, the more money you make. It's kind of how the world works.
Just wanted to go be a teenager. He wanted to hang out with his friends, and he wanted to play video games, be around his family, and play ball. And he didn't like all the stuff. And but here's what I respected the most: he and his mom and dad, in particular, if they said something, that's what it was. When Adam McCann, who worked very, very closely with him, and me and Adam are very, very dear friends. When they said something, that's what it was. And it wasn't trying to read between any of the lines. Like his mom would even call and say, Coach, if you hear something immediate, you don't have to read between the lines. Just call me. Just call us and we'll tell you exactly what it is. And I'm the same way, very open book, very transparent, sometimes to a fault.
Can confirm, definitely can confirm with Coach Alford.
But whatever they said it was, that's what it was. And they've held true to that from day one, since the day I met him. And so they were fun to recruit. It was hard at times because he doesn't talk a lot. There were days, weeks that he might not talk to me and not respond. And we're like, gosh, what's going on? And he's like, Coach, this is like yesterday. Actually, it's still funny because I sent him a long text message late last night. I mean, it was like 11:30 last night. I shot him this text message about, here's my expectation for you in the morning, because he didn't have a really good day in the walkthrough, because he wasn't as focused as I wanted him to be. So I told him about 11:30 last night, as I'm laying there, couldn't sleep. I'm texting him, and he didn't respond. Well, I see him this morning, and I'm like, it was like 6 o'clock this morning. I'm like, hey, well, did you get my text? He goes, oh yeah, I saw it. He's like, I saw it. Are you gonna respond? I said, the recruiting's over now. You got to respond to text messages. So he was like, yeah, I'll respond. And so that was at 6 o'clock. He finally responded about 9:30 to the text. I'm like, come on, serious. But that's just who he is. And he's just wonderful to be around. He really is. And he was an academic all-star of the week, which I thought was amazing, that he's got all these accolades, but these are the things that are important to him and his mom and dad. And there's not a whole lot of fluff. What you see is what you get, and what he says is what he means.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, let's talk about another special running back, John.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously Jordan Marshall, formerly Mr. Ohio, decides to come to Michigan, right?
Yeah, man. Tony lost that recruitment. I was really bummed, dude, because I like Jordan Marshall a lot. And I think we're good, obviously. Like, we made it out. Like, our running back room, I think, is likely better than Michigan's this year, I think. I know we kind of glazed Savion Haider for a sec, but I think the Ohio State room is better than the Michigan room, especially with Justice Haynes going to my rambling wreck. But I like Jordan Marshall a lot. But again, our room is better, because I think Bo Jackson is probably the best single player in all the rooms.
And what do you think makes Jordan Marshall such a special player to work with?
Yeah, well, first, I thought Mike Hart, obviously Mike did a great job. Obviously Mike's at Boston College now, but Mike and Jim, they did a great job recruiting Jordan. They really did. And he came because of his affinity for them and his affinity for the University of Michigan. Now, he and I have always remained very, very close, even when he was being recruited, and after he committed, he and I still continued to talk all the time.
I remember he said that.
Yeah. Me and that kid became very, very close in the recruiting process. But with that, all that being said, Jordan,
he's not going to bring up Ohio State a single time, is he?
Is very mature for his years, almost like, he's kind of like the mayor. He can talk to anybody, and he's such an engaging personality. He's smart, he's articulate, he's a leader. And I think, some guys just kind of have that leadership qualities that they just have. It's other guys will grow into it, but he,
AKA, gonna be a good leader when we give Savion Haider the keys to this car.
Just has always had it. And in such an engaging personality that the players, the staff, the people in the building, from the people in the cafeteria to the nutritionist, to the janitorial staff, they all kind of draw to him. And a lot of that's just due to his personality. He's very appreciative of people around him. He makes sure that he appreciates you just by his approach every single day. And he's done a really outstanding job with the young players, with Savion in particular, Jonathan Brown. He does a great job of helping coach the younger players. And it's not like he's some old head. He's kind of an old soul, if you will, but he does a great job of echoing the things that we want from the staff, from myself, obviously, in our room, from Coach Whittingham, from Coach Beck, from Coach Combs in special teams. He does a great job of echoing the things that we want done in the locker room. And so he's been a great leader, especially when it got hard. When it got hard around here, the past few months, he was one of the guys that stood in there real tall and real firm, and did an outstanding job. I'm proud of him. And I love him. I love the kid. I love being around him every day. He and I have a very, very close relationship. He has a close relationship with my son. So me and Jordan have a special relationship.
Yeah, I mean, he's a player that when he does his player interviews, the leadership just goes through the screen.
Right.
Honestly, he reminds me a little bit of Blake Corum when Blake Corum was here, like that same just mentality.
I hated watching Blake Corum play, guys. I hated it. Not just because he beat Ohio State. I think he was like the most boring type of running back. Like there's like the Christian quarterbacks, and there's like the Christian running backs, and like if you're like a couple yards in a cloud of dust, and you're not striking. Like here we go. To be a Christian running back, you got to strike fear in somebody, either a DB or a DC. Somebody, dude. Like Blake Corum wasn't striking fear in nobody, man. Donovan Edwards is closer to like the Christian running back, because it's like, you know, I may be blind, but if this blind back gets to open space, it's up for y'all niggas, man. So I hate Blake Corum, dude. So overrated. He was not that good his final year at Michigan. He was good before that, but I guess I get frustrated because people thought he should have been in New York City until he tore his knee up, which was not at all the case. Like I know that like people are gonna be like, you glazed Michigan, but I'm telling you, man, that kid was not Heisman caliber. That would have been the weakest running back to ever make it to New York City, bro. He was not like that. If you look at like the hyper elite running backs to make it to New York City and some of the ones that didn't, bro, like J.K. didn't make it to New York, and like Blake Corum. Like J.K. was like twice the player Blake Corum was. I mean, like, I don't know, dude. It never struck fear in me. I think Jordan Marshall's more explosive.
Team first, we love Jordan Marshall around here. But can you, Coach, tell us about the rest of the running backs in your room? You have a heck of a room going into this year.
Yeah, I think so. They're good guys. I have high expectations. One of the things I talk to them about all the time is expectations are extremely high, and that's not changing. And so what the answer is to not meet those expectations. That's not the answer. So, but Bryson Kuzdal is the other one that everyone knows about, and he is. I'm really, really
big Kuz.
Proud of that kid. He walked on and kind of felt like the forgotten child in a lot of ways when I first got here. Wouldn't even talk. Was very quiet, subdued. Didn't smile. Wouldn't look at you when he did talk to you. He really didn't look at you, which I attributed to the lack of confidence. And but now you see him now, totally different kid. Walks around his chin up, chest high, chest out, and very shows his confidence when he does things. Just the way he moves and carries himself throughout the building.
That kind of ended up growing like that. Like later in the year, he started getting a lot more love, and obviously I work in such like a performative industry, right? Like for me, like I hate to even compare myself to athletes, but like when I do like shows that end up doing numbers, like I feel better and want to do more shows. Generally speaking. So it's like, the more, I guess it's like human nature, right? The more successful something goes for you, the more you're like willing and wanting to do that thing, like moving forward. Maybe. There's gotta be like basic human psychology. I think I'm fucking being groundbreaking, but I'm just giving you basic human psychology. But, the kid had a couple of good games down the stretch, and you started to see more of the personality. I think, was he the kid that was smirking and smiling a little bit? The Michigan fans got kind of rubbed the wrong way by. Pause. Because he was the one that said we weren't going to let them plant our flag. Maybe that. I can go back and look. I did a video on that. We're not going to let them plant our flag. Well, big dog. Right. Who knows, dude? I'm just being annoying, I guess.
Phenomenal young man. I think he's got a heck of a future, and he's in a room to some really good players, but he's a really good player himself, and he's proven that, and he continues to prove it every single day, and not just on the offense, but in special teams, and so I'm very, very happy and pleased with where he's at in his walk right now. We need to continue to get better, obviously, and he knows that, but I'm extremely pleased with where he's at. And I'm excited about what he can bring to this offense and this football program, because he's a highly motivated kid and he's got a lot of confidence right now, and so hopefully that will continue to build through the spring.
Absolutely.
And then you got Micah Capana.
I was going to ask about Micah.
Yeah.
Yes.
You got Micah Capana from Bishop Gorman out in Las Vegas. He's a young man, obviously redshirted, and last year he was getting himself in position to play. We had packages specifically for him, and then he broke his thumb. And that set him back for quite a while. I got like 3 or 4 pins put in there, and he came back at the very end of the season. Micah's hard to get down. He's got great contact balance. Not the biggest guy in the world. He's probably hovering around 190, 192 pounds. He'll tell you 195, but he's not. I call him the little fella, but
I be lying about my height and weight too. I get it.
But and he's got a great demeanor about him, team guy. I think he could be a guy that could really contend for the specialist specialist job as far as the return game.
Oh yeah,
That
please.
hopefully
Yes.
he can do that and
Yeah.
and just find ways to help us, and there's
Yeah.
going to be a multiple opportunities and a multitude of ways that we can get playmakers on the field with this offense. But he's got to put himself in position to do that. And
Yeah.
how you do that, you have to build trust, and you build trust by what you do every single day in practice, what you do every single day in the weight room, in the locker room, in the meeting rooms. Trust is earned.
It's always funny hearing coaches talk because they talk like players are like actively listening to this too. I think it's hilarious. It's like, look, you want to go on the field? I mean, I'm gonna throw you guys a bone, but you guys got to give me this, this, and this. Who knows? Players might be listening. I don't know. What the fuck do I know? Just Christopher from fucking Akron.
And when you get yourself into what we call that circle of trust, and you do things, not only knowing what to do, but then being able to physically do those things. Yeah, I know what to do, and now you got to go physically do it. And when he shows that he can do that on a consistent basis, I think we may have a real guy there. Then you've got another guy.
Hey, TJ's got the office of a 55-year-old man.
Thomas O'Meara. And Tomas O'Meara is a walk-on kid from right here in Ann Arbor.
Tony getting everybody love, man. These guys are not going to play for you, Tony. Stop it. Or Coach Alford, stop it.
And he just continues to work and get better and better and better. And, but he's great for the room, and he's done a nice job. And, everyone has a role, and he's been phenomenal in that role thus far. You got Donovan Johnson, who came in from IMG.
Damn, he's literally giving everybody love.
He was one of the top-rated backs in the country going into his senior year, or I guess you'd say his junior, and he tore a knee up his junior year.
Yeah.
And down at IMG, I started recruiting him when he was in Savannah, Georgia, as a freshman in high school. We got very close. He tore the knee up while he was in IMG. He got better. IMG, they played a lot of guys the senior year. We took him here. Unfortunately, he tore the other knee up early in the spring last year. So he's still coming back from that. He will be ready in the fall.
Nice.
We'll probably take it easy on him this spring, and really start cutting him loose as we get into the summer. And maybe do a couple things this spring, as he'll be cleared to do. All right, that's anticipation of that. But he's the bigger back. He's probably the biggest guy in the room, about 225, 226 pounds.
Yeah, Hugh Smith Golden.
Yeah, he's a big back, but he's great. He's got a great head on his shoulders.
Big back.
Leader, very serious about his trade, kind of serious about just taking care of his business. And his mom wouldn't have it any other way. But I'm excited about him, and just got to get him back healthy. If he gets back healthy, I think we got something there. And so, heaven help him that he can get back in form. And then you've got Jonathan Brown. Jonathan Brown's a young man from Columbus, Ohio, that came in from DeSales High School in Columbus.
Love hearing that. Yes.
Yeah, we got that.
But great.
Fucking lax, bub. Shit, man. Relax.
Kid. We'll see where he goes. He's getting better. This is a learning process for him, and they just got to continue to develop as a college football player. He hasn't played running back for very long, but he's got the measurables as far as height and strength and speed and length and things of that nature. So, I think we got a high quality athlete that would just continue to build him and teach him how to play running back at the collegiate level. I'm trying to think, who did I miss? I don't think I missed anybody. But those are kind of the guys.
Yeah, I think you had the room there. All right, so all right, here's another question I know the audience definitely would love to hear about, Coach. So can you tell us kind of about Bryce Underwood and his progression that you're seeing right now? He's going into a sophomore year, big year. What have you seen, and what are you liking?
Just the leadership.
This is a question for once spring gets kind of underway for them, I think.
And watch that grow and his confidence, and it is what it is. It's the world we live in, right? He came in with all these accolades and big name and all the bells and whistles and the lights and stuff, but he was still an 18-year-old kid, right? We got to remember that, exactly. and that's not to make any excuses for any mishaps or.
I told Culture Bowl with Sam that they need to go back on their promise. I feel like there was an emphasis to maybe make him an NFL quarterback, and Underwood's path to success for me personally, I believe, is for them to make him a very good college quarterback. What do I mean by that? It's the legs have to be the number one most dangerous weapon that uses that to open up some of the passing stuff. He has to color outside the lines. He has to be creative. He has to be able to kind of work in the run game. And if he develops into an NFL quarterback, it's got to be the Jackson Dart route, where look, my legs are so dangerous, you can't ignore this. But when I'm asked to throw, I could still hurt you down the field. It has to be that style. Maybe JJ McCarthy, in a sense, but just a bigger toolsier athlete. It has to be downhill. And the thing about Whittingham's offenses is that he does not care about getting guys ready for the NFL. That's like never been his prerogative. His prerogative has always been like building great college offenses, and his offenses have always generally gotten more explosive as the year went on. And I think that's why I'm high alert on Michigan, because I think like that game being at the end of the year benefits Michigan more than it benefits Ohio State in terms of like what you want that path to look like. So that's just my own, I guess, like thought process maybe. But he's got to be a willing and capable runner. Like they just have to run him. Like I'm talking like, and this is gonna sound crazy, they need to run Underwood 15 times a game. Point blank, period. Great athlete, not a great quarterback, and let him figure out the throwing as you go. Like they need to run him that often, and I mean that in every sense, 15 plus times a game.
Anything of that nature. But there's also maturation and growth process that takes place. And you're watching that in real time take form. And when you've watched his leadership, genuine leadership come out.
I think that's fascinating, right? Like and I guess maybe this is probably not lip service, but it might be lip service. He doesn't come across as like a great leader to me, and maybe that's like kind of the youth that you see like in some of the interviews. Like he seems like an immature, like the world is mine, kind of stance that I think is maybe hurt him a little bit down the road, like early on in his career. I think it's hurt him. Because, like, there were times last year where I just thought he was just talking way too much and literally making it way too about me. He's got, like, a little bit of a receiver attitude when it comes to the quarterback spot, which is okay. Like, sometimes you have to, like, tell yourself you're that to get to that level. But he doesn't strike me as, like, a great leader. But that could be coming, right? He's, like you said, a young kid. Just noticing.
Play people draw to him much like they do to Jordan. And so you're watching him. He loves the game. He wants to be coached, and he is being coached hard. And he's taken to it, and so I've watched that, and Bryce and I we've become pretty close since I've been here, and we talk quite a bit, and
running back.
And so it's fun to watch. It's been fun to watch him grow. And some of the things that were very frustrating for him in his growth process as a true freshman, there's a lot was thrown on his plate. But you watch.
But also his goal, like it's funny because like people are like, well, like people got mad at me. One of my early things about. Just like I guess about the world of it was like, oh, like you're asking way too much of like Bryce Underwood. And my thing is like, well, he told us he's unlike any freshman we've ever seen before. So it's like I'm judging him on the expectations that he told me to judge him on. So while maybe not looking for him to be the best quarterback in the country, I was looking for him to be at least in the conversation for best true freshman quarterback in the country, and he was not even that. Like if you put him and Mason next to each other, it's like one is so much better than the other. It's almost an absurdly wide gap kind of on that front. So for me, that's kind of, I guess, my defense, because he was a fucking massive fucking disappointment from this last year. Like a fucking massive disappointment to the point where I'm looking like, ew, like you paid this for this? You paid how? You paid how much? So I don't know, and maybe I'm hating, but I thought he was fucking dog water for the expectations that he told us. And also, like, I watched Devin Gardner and Jake Butt break down his Michigan Ohio State game, and like he cost them so many easy looks, so many easy opportunities to like gain yards. He just like fucking fumbled, folded, and like did a bad job with, and he had the bad pick. So, but again, I mean, wasn't being coached properly, I guess, is kind of what the excuse is. But bro, he told us what we should be looking for. He told us a standard that we got to hold him to, and then I got yelled at for fucking holding to that fuck ass standard, bro. But I thought he was dog water.
Watch him to
like not even fun to watch.
He's starting to manage all of those things.
That's what I care about.
Better as we move, and so excited about where we're going with him. He's done a nice job this offseason.
Yeah, absolutely. And to your point, Coach, I mean, he was 17 in August.
Yeah.
What a responsibility to have a D1 program, like a blue blood. You are the leading quarterback, at a blue blood program like Michigan. I mean, the kid had the world on his shoulders, Yeah, I definitely.
To your point with that, I do got to say this, when Saban and I were talking about this the other day, because remember I just said he didn't have the best walkthrough. right? We had a
Yeah.
walkthrough in the afternoon, and I
Right.
wasn't happy about it. He made one too many mistakes for me. But with that being said, one other thing about it. Remember, I just said he didn't have the best walkthrough, right? We had a
Yeah.
walkthrough in the afternoon, and I
Right.
wasn't happy about it. He made one too many mistakes for me. But with that being said, one of the things I said to him and all our players is, we could use the excuses. You're a freshman, you're 17, you're new, all the things and those are all real. Those are all real. But there's 110, 112,000 people on any given Saturday that really don't care. I don't feel good. I'm sick. I got a cold. I have the flu. Nobody cares. And as I
Facts.
tell them, and I tell these guys, listen, I love you. You're my guys. I love you. But let me help you. When you come to work every day and you come to practice and you walk in between those lines, the game doesn't care about you. The game doesn't care. I'm sorry you don't feel good, but for 2 hours, hell, I don't care.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Ooh. Yeah.
That's the world that we live in. So, and so in retrospect, go back to Bryce. No one cares. They just want to win, have success, find a way to be successful. It just makes for a better story when you're young and you're doing it. But at the end of the day, the objective is to win. Period.
That's right.
And get better.
Just
period.
win.
That's it.
I love coachism. It's like it's a philosophy in its own, coach. Because you're right. There's not a single thing you said that was not true. I mean, that's just the truth. It's black and white as much as it is. Like it is what it is. Like this is a results business, right, coach? And
that's it.
You got to step to the plate. You get on the field. It's results. At the end of the day, the scoreboard's what matters.
That's right. And that's the real world. But that's the world that we live in. And that's not coach speak. I mean, honestly, I'm trying to be just as transparent as I can. That's truly what it is.
It's life. Yep.
That's life. If you lose, you get fired.
Yep.
Right.
And we chose it. As coaches, we chose that. And so the objective is, hey, just get better every day. Get incrementally better every day. And I do believe that what motivates man is getting better. Yes, you can say, well, I'm motivated to win. How do you win? You win by getting better. And if you continue, you win by improving every day. That you can see just incremental improvements every single day. Well, if you improve enough, the result of that is winning. And so the objective is to make sure as coaches and as players, not just coaches, but as players as well, that we're improving every single day. Do something a little bit better than you did it yesterday. And then you're going to look up 50, 60, 70 days later, and you keep depositing, putting all these stuff in the bank and putting all these nuggets in your pocket. You're going to look up one day and say, damn, I went from having nothing in my pocket to I got a full pocket full of gold.
I got pockets fat, coach.
And what are you doing with it? And now you go win. So that's really the approach.
Not bad. I do want to hit this one.
I think Michigan football is gonna be.
Oh, real quick, just go tap in with them. They did a full episode. I don't want to steal too much, dude. The more I was like, I'm noticing obviously like the On3 is on a crazy tear, and they're winning with volume. And I think they've traded like quality for volume. They don't really offer like great insight anymore. And I've noticed that a lot of their like lead dogs are not like research driven and have like short attention spans. And I think that JD used to do a better job, and now he's tried to morph himself into a Brooks Austin, Josh Pate, like weird morph. And I think I think it's been poor actually. Generally speaking, I think that his stuff quality wise is fallen off a cliff. I think he creates content for the simplest of simple college football fans. That honestly I could see like my I don't even know. I don't even. It just feels like not there. But I keep trying to give chances because like also like I understand that like in the offseason it's like hard to provide meaningful content. It's hard to like provide thoughtful stuff when you are tired and really don't love the sport you cover, which I think is true about JD Pickell. But with that being said, there is opportunity for you to cover the sport the right way once things start happening. And now things are starting to happen a little bit. There are things to talk about. So I'm going to give him a second chance because, like, I was almost completely out. Like, I thought he had absolutely fucking moronic takes about the NCAA this offseason. I thought he had horrible takes about Damon Williams. I thought he had horrible, dishonest takes about tampering. I thought he had horrible, dishonest takes about what the NCAA eligibility rules are. I think he had horrible, dishonest takes when the NCAA tried to do the right thing. So I think he's been horrible. But he also played college football. So I try to give chances and listen more and more and more because I do look for more college football, accounts to, I guess, listen to, in large part because, like, I want like at least insight and like to see kind of what other communities are feeling. But I think he's been doing a horrible job. But we're gonna give him a chance to redeem himself, I guess, on the back end of this, and because I'm really curious.
Fun this year. On the offensive side of the football, been a minute. Now, you're bringing in Jason Beck from Utah to Michigan to call your offense. Let's explain what that new offense is going to look like, shall we?
And you know what bugs me? I take college football, the phrase college football sicko, like that to me, that means something to me. And I feel like I'm a sicko because I'll watch like literally everything. People used to get on me because I defended the G5. Like, how much G5 did you watch? Little do you know. Big Akron guy over here, man. Shout out 5 and 7, and we're bowl eligible this year. I'm a big G6 guy, man. I call him G5. My bad.
How we will do it together before we do.
That was nasty, bro. So much spit came out of my mouth.
Though, if you're a college football sicko, you're what? Spoiler alert.
That's what I'm saying, bro. He claims he's a college football sicko. He doesn't, bro. And there was this one. Never mind. I'm about to get real nitpicky and hatery. I don't want to hate. It's like, what time is it? What's that? 9:02. I don't want to hate. Oh shit, Pound Town's about to start.
You're a sicko because you're watching us explain Michigan's new offense during the month of February, and you're taking your own time to go do that, so you're a sicko whether you knew it or not. Make sure you're subscribed. We're talking...
It's a fake sicko. It's a fake demon, gang. Fake demon. In fact, I'll contend that Ari Wasserman is more of a demon than this dude, man. Fake demon. Fake demon.
Scheme, we're talking storylines, we're talking everything and anything that has to do with the best sport on the face of planet Earth every single day. So again, make sure you're
a sport that, again, you hate and you don't support the NCAA trying to get things under control. Just want to throw that out there. Also, and maybe this is like separate, like I don't like guys that try to like force the internet meme culture. Oh my God, I'm just D1 hating today. Fuck, dude, I didn't get enough sleep. But like, I think it bugs me. I think he's posted this one picture of himself at Baylor. Like, literally, I kid you not. Like if someone held a gun to my head and said, how much has fake pay J.D. Pickell, how much has he posted that one picture of himself to try to make it stick as a meme? I think it's probably 150 times.
Subscribed. So as I said, Jason Beck calling the offense. I want to get this out of the way from the top. This is not going to be what you had last year where it's like, hey, Chip Lindsey's the OC, but really it's like the Sharon Moore offense. This is not Kyle Whittingham's version of Jason Beck's offense. This is Jason Beck's offense. Kyle Whittingham has coached long enough to say, I hired coordinators. I'm going to let them do their job. So Michigan fans rejoice with that being the news. Jason Beck, the headline around him is like his offense is very adaptable to his personnel. But if you're a college football fan that's been around a coordinator hire or two, that's just kind of what every coordinator says. Hey, we're going to do what our players can do. We're going to tailor our scheme to them. That's the
I'd be surprised. Never mind.
right thing to say.
I'm done hating, guys. That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, I've been doing such a great job at therapy. I'm done hating today, right? We're not hating today. We're not hating today. Just let me know. Just honestly, in the comment section, just spread peace, love, and joy.
Like before getting to do this for a job, I worked in a job in recruiting corporately in an 8 to 5. And it's kind of like everyone says, I like to work with people. For me, I'm really personable. I want to work with people. I don't want to be all cooped up in my office or my cubicle. It's like, yeah, everybody says that, but do you actually mean that? Are you actually good with people? Are you actually good with tailoring your scheme to your personnel? Jason Beck's track record.
I never wanted to work with people, gang. I wanted to be at my desk talking to the internet gremlins. The internet gremlins. That's where I'm at. Fuck people. I don't work with people. I want to work in a solo studio by myself. Or with one, maybe like with two people, actually. I say that, but I work in a pretty creative field. But I'm all about the internet gremlins, man. All about the gremlins. I don't need to go out. I don't need to go, golf for work. I don't need like work luncheons. I need gremlins. So me and Pat get along, do a couple internet gremlins.
Implies that he is. Just different stops, he's had success. At BYU, he elevated Taysom Hill. At Virginia, worked with the quarterbacks there and had some success with Brendan Armstrong. Really got it popping, though, against in his OC role with New Mexico, the top 25 scoring offense before coming to Utah. And then Utah, averaged 40 a game, had 6 yards to carry on the ground, had some real success. So the fact that he's had success at all those different stops, won the same personnel from BYU to Virginia to New Mexico to Utah, that the proof is in the pudding there. He actually is able to adapt his scheme to different personnel and have success in doing that. All right, so the basics of the Beck offense, Michigan fans, it's still going to be the punch you in the face kind of style of ball. It's still going to be, we're tougher than you, we're more physical than you, we love our offensive linemen, we're going to have them push you around for 4 quarters. It's still going to be that flavor. Now, there's other things to go along with that, but like Jason Beck, when you go explore what he did at Utah, they ran the football 60% of the time, had a whole lot of 12 personnel, meaning 2 tight ends on the field at a time. Not just 12 personnel. Like Jason Beck's a psychopath to where he'd say, you know what? 5-0 linemen, not enough. I need more beef. I need more USDA-approved sirloin out there, baby. Give me a 6th offensive lineman. They would do that semi-routinely. So you can say you want to run the football, you want to control the line of scrimmage, but you're really about that life if you're going to add a 6th offensive lineman onto the field. And at that point, too, you just like imposing your will on people. You just like being physical if you're adding another big, beautiful man out there on the field to do that. So, yes, you're going to run the football. The numbers indicate that. The scheme indicates.
One sec, guys. Love me. Love me. Yeah, love me. Love me. Love me. Just a quick look. Looks like Jason Beck, and I can honestly, I just need to go back and watch tape. But quick look, OC Jason Beck is an 11 personnel guy, and it's a run first spread. And this is Desert News. Honestly, that sounds like a fair trade to me. It's funny because like this quick read from the Utah side of things, one of the Utah sites, is that he's primarily 11 personnel. Power spread is what's getting thrown around out there, which is so funny because like Whittingham, Urban, Whittingham, love that. But I do wonder sometimes like when people do shows and they're not super in tune with everything, the easy thing to do is like just give the fan base what they want to hear, right? Like Michigan is like used to hearing about like how great 13 personnel is and all that. And I think he just lied to give lip service to a fan base right there. Because like I think every Michigan fan's be like, oh yeah, like we love the run. We love the big, beautiful man. Because it sounds like he runs just a lot of 11 personnel. I mean, when I watched him, it was like a lot of 11 and 12 personnel. It's kind of like base offense stuff. And when they had Dalton Kincaid, you know, he's got it, dude. I'm not hating, bro.
It's that. Now, how you
Peace and love in the comments section.
run the football is where this gets exciting. In principle, Jason Beck's offense is called like the power spread. All that means downhill run, but we're gonna set up formationally in that spread offense kind of look with multiple pass catch.
But didn't you just tell us we're working an extra offensive line in? Like that's not really power spread. So it's like, let me give lip service to the fan base, and then let me spin back with the notes. Don't go off script, Pikel. Oh, God.
Catchers and our quarterback in the gun and the running back in the sidecar. How they do that, though, downhill run, a lot of power, right? A lot of pulling the guard, pulling the tackle, a lot of downhill run schemes to where you're attacking the personnel of the defense, but also that spread allows you to attack the numbers of a defense. Like, that kind of gets me to the next staple of this offense. The majority, I'll say probably 90%-ish.
I'm talking QB run, a lot of QB run in there. That's what's going to work with Underwood.
Of what Jason Beck calls for Bryce Underwood out of the gun is going to have an RPO tag on top of it. Meaning, any given play, Bryce Underwood can give it to the running back or pull it and pass it, and depending on the look now, get it out wide to one of the tight ends or receivers or whatever the numbers indicate he should do with the football. Just what I said, though. The numbers are going to indicate what Bryce Underwood does.
There is a third. I mean, obviously, like, the RPO quarterback run is a big part of it, too, in, like, with that skill set, TBH.
Based on the pre-snap picture he gets. So the reason why I like that as a Michigan fan is I'm not having to do a whole lot of post-snap processing and where's the safety rolling and what's that guy's leverage during the play versus pre-snap, all those things. It's like we're letting Bryce Underwood read the defense pre-snap, figure out his plan, and play football. Like, that's what Bryce Underwood is. Great quarterback. He's a football player, dude.
RPO is a lot of post-snap processing. It's a different kind of processing, but it is post-snap processing. I don't like when people try to act like it's not, just generally speaking.
And last year it felt a little bit like you were trying to box him into this system that wasn't really the most catered to his skill set. Okay, Jason Beck kind of alluded to as much in a Michigan podcast that he did called In the Trenches. Great stuff. Go check out that podcast. Really insightful stuff from Jason Beck. But he mentions, like, just quarterbacks in general, you can kind of see their processing and what they're thinking by nature of what their feet are doing and how quickly they're making decisions. It felt like last year Jason Beck is alluding to Bryce Underwood maybe having to think a touch too much. And, like, that's never a good thing for any football player. Thinking too much, you're not playing if you're thinking.
I don't like the idea that the RPO game is, like, devoid of, like, nuance and thinking. I think it is, like, a lot of processing. It's a different kind of processing, and obviously, like, you're still reading 3 to 4 defenders every single play in the RPO world. So I wish that it got the respect it's deserved. I'm going to drop an RPO series at some point soon, just because people are going to hear from me. Gosh darn it.
And so Bryce Underwood's going to be playing a lot more. So going back to this whole RPO tag that's going to be on a lot of these plays for Michigan in 2026, that's going to give, I think, Bryce Underwood a lot of, again, freedom to make the offense go. It plays to his skill set to where he's going to be in rhythm with a lot of easy completions. Like, the beauty of the RPO is we're not getting to the pass part of the RPO unless we know that we like the throw we have pre-snap. And so what that's going to do, what I just said, going to get Bryce Underwood some easy completions, get him in rhythm. Anytime you're in rhythm as a quarterback, like, good things happen. Very good things happen when you're in rhythm. And I don't know that we ever really saw Bryce Underwood truly, like, in rhythm multiple games in a row in 2025. So that's going to be good for everyone involved in the Michigan offense. All right. Now, on top of the RPO stuff, Jason Beck with Evan Dampier did some of this. I think you'll see some of this with Bryce Underwood too. There's almost like an extra R attached to the RPO when you have a quarterback who can run it as well. There was a lot of different times last year at Utah where it would be an RPO called, but if you were to pull it from that mesh and you don't like the give to the running back, you could pull it as the quarterback and have a puller on the offensive line running with you to where we have not just one but 2 run plays called as well as a pass play behind that.
It's not fucking groundbreaking. That was, like, an original, like, plan behind a lot of the RPO stuff. Like, I think I get really frustrated, like, when I hear people that, like, claim to know football, like, act like the RPO is only, like, the read into, like, a slant. Like, a lot of RPOs, like, fucking, like the whole Lincoln Riley RPO at Oklahoma was based on, like, quarterback running the ball, because the original RPO was quarterback run or running back run with a throw on top of it, and it was, like, kind of it was viewed as, like, the modern day triple option of sorts, and that's, like, Joe Moorhead and them kind of what they've taught. I think so many people have, like, just and like, if they're gonna act like it's fucking groundbreaking to have the quarterback run as a part of RPO, like, no, like, quarterback running as a part of the RPO is the origins of the RPO. Because, like, run pass option, it's not running back or quarterback throw. It's like, I don't know, dude.
To where, okay, we don't like the give to the running back. Let's get our quarterback out in space with a puller in front of him And if he doesn't like the pass, he can then run it. So it almost, in a bizarre way, kind of becomes a
fuck, dude. Like, football, I guess, read notes. It's like the process of RPO, which is why the purpose of an RPO with a running quarterback that is kind of the origins of a triple option wise, it's like running back run, and if I don't like that, then it's quarterback run, and if I don't like the quarterback run, then I throw, generally speaking. If you guys want me to drop a video on that, I will. I'll drop some like real BTS for how I get ready, what I do in the offseason actually too.
Triple option, but the pitch is a pass. So you're not having this phase relationship with the running back, and you're going to pitch it if the linebacker comes up. You're out on the perimeter in space. If that linebacker attacks you, you're throwing it to a tight end or a receiver or whoever that option is on that pass play. So again, that excites me because again,
it's like generally speaking, if you see it, guys, it's like a running back run is option 1, quarterback run is option 2, bubble screen is option 3. If you like it.
We talk about
think how Penn State beat Ohio State. Like that, they just RPO'd the shit out of us.
Underwood, the physical skill set with him is special. I want him playing football. I want him not having to think and process and all. I want him cutting.
RPO is thinking and processing though, like especially like that version of it. I don't want anybody to ever get confused. I don't like. Honestly, it's funny because like this is like I guess a race rhetoric thing. Like sometimes you notice it. Like, oh, I don't want him to think. I don't want him to think. I don't want him to think. And it's almost like a dog whistle for like black quarterbacks not being processors. But like no, like it's a fuck ton of processing to get that right. And it's quick processing. Like you're still reading like about like 3 or 4 defenders every single like play on RPO. But it's like, look, we just ask him to be an athlete. We don't ask him to think. I think it's like super corny because then you'll hear it like later on, like repeated. And you know, I guess football's come a long way where we don't really get any like dog whistles in terms of like black quarterbacks can't think. But I don't like that being thrown around there because like you are processing information, and like you're reading defenders. Now it's just a different kind of read, but it's still like reading and processing and having to process pretty quickly.
Letting it loose, doing what he does best, and attacking defenses at every single level of what they're trying to present to him. All right. Now, what excites me too within that RPO stuff is they do a really good job under Jason Beck testing a defense's discipline. Like the formation is one part of this. With the spread offense, they're going to stretch you out widthwise. It's not the same as what you see with Tennessee and USF last year and Auburn this upcoming year where they're making you honor all the splits in a super intense and emphatic way. But there is something to be said for, hey, if you give us a light box now because of this spread offensive system, we're going to pound you in the face, and that's great for us. But if you want to, try and account for that, because last year at Utah they ran for 6 yards a carry, you want to account for that now. We have the numbers enough on the perimeter to where if you declare to try to stop the run, we can get a matchup. And if we get a matchup and it's the right one, we got a quarterback that can deliver the mail. Okay, here we go now. We're really rolling. So I like that part of testing a defense discipline-wise in terms of how they align. But the unique thing about the RPO that Jason Beck runs, a lot of it is just what I said, power downhill run schemes. Meaning, again, we're pulling the offensive line.
He's repeating himself. I'm good. Hey, go like that interview that John and them did with Tony Alford. I gotta go get ready for the show, and then I'll probably drop like a spring recap video. And we're going live tonight, and I think Ron might join us too for the I-71 rundown. So obviously, like trying to tackle all things spring. And I'll see you guys when I see you guys. Make sure you like and sub. Trying to get to 9,000 subs, dude. It's been like a weird long grind. We've been stuck a little bit, but we're just gonna keep putting out content and for whoever wants it because that's kind of how we operate. But I'll holler at you guys soon.